Hey there, my name is Pravus, and welcome to more Terra Invicta, playing as the Resistance. I have played for about 4 or 5 hours since the last episode, and I've cut all of that out because, well, to be honest, it's not made for exciting content. It's pretty much just been a lot of rinse and repeat repetitive actions, and very micromanagement intensive. 4 or 5 hours of playing the game has not translated into a lot of time passing, and that is because I am constantly chasing down alien fleets. Look at all these purple dots here. What's happening right now is the AI is basically constructing ships 1 or 2 at a time and then launching them non-stop to try and arrive around the same time, but they usually don't do a fantastic job of that. So I am constantly under assault around Mars, Earth, Mercury, or perhaps most importantly of all, Jupiter. They really don't like that I have set up over here in Jupiter, and I'm having to just basically micromanage moving my fleets to intercept them one at a time, wipe them out before they can join up, and then move on to the next target. And the reason I am so frantically doing this is because the AI has decided it has a particular goal: destroy the human economy in space. Namely, they seem to have retrofitted or built nothing but lots of small ships or dreadnoughts that are capable of bombarding from space and destroying all of my stations. That is the only thing they care about, and weirdly enough, even if I have battle stations up and running, they seem incompetent at defending my bases. I don't know if something's bugged with battle stations now, or if the aliens have just been that good at creating more efficient ship designs for destroying things, but one little slip-up is all it's going to take for me to lose almost a year's worth of construction progress, I kid you not. So I have been spending the last 4 hours sitting here on the intel menu, watching all of these alien ships and where they're going, and you may notice there are a lot of them heading toward my targets, and trying to anticipate who's going to arrive when. All right, I need to have a fleet there, take that one out, then move on to the next target. I've only got a 2-day window to do that, or else they're going to bombard, etc., etc. Absolutely annoying as hell. This is an exercise in pain. Io in particular is the most at risk because in order to keep my ships properly equipped and fueled, over here I'm building up one tiny little station. It's called Nelson Station. I went for a tier 1 just so I could build it within about a month or so. It's almost done, and this has a space dock attached to it. With the space dock, I can finally refuel some of my ships, plus refit them as necessary. It'll take a little time, but that is absolutely going to be massive for me. So in just a few hours, this will finally be set up. It's obviously extremely indefensible, so I'm very worried about this sucker. But at least I'll have something I can work with to get my ships back up and a-running, refit them as necessary, and then refuel so we can chase enemies down. Once I've got a load of excess Delta V, then I don't even have to bother splitting the navies in order to trap people. I can just actually chase them down, and they won't be able to evade me for long. That's going to be huge. Now, here's the reason I wanted to pick this video back up where I am, even though not everything is constructed around Europa, Io, etc., though. Now that I've got a station, I feel far more comfortable taking my combined fleet around Jupiter and doing the exact same thing to the aliens that they've been doing to me. Namely, destroy their economy. If the AI thinks this is a good idea, then I probably should do it as well. Here on Io, for example, there is an alien base. There it is, right over here. Take a look at it. And this thing is loaded with an absolute ton of defense arrays, not to mention a fair bit of reactors, and of course, there's their mining complex. I want to blow this thing up because it is worth a lot of materials to the aliens, and the more materials I can deny from them, the less ships that they are able to launch. Makes a lot of sense, that's why they're doing it to me. I don't have the ability to bombard it reliably without getting killed, but what I do have is a whole mess of Marines attached into these dreadnoughts. So if I want to target the Stone Fortress base with 72,000 fleet power, I have a 95% chance that my Marines are just going to destroy it in 5 days. That is going to be big. And then even if I lose all of my Marines in the process, now that I've got a station where I can repair, I can actually refit the ship with a new group of Marines and rinse and repeat. So if this goes according to plan, this is going to be a big blow to the aliens. And I need to start doing this literally everywhere I can in the solar system. Jupiter is just the start. There's a whole mess of bases around the asteroid belt, and I have ships waiting in Earth's orbit ready to go for it. We can destroy these things. Now, back home on Earth, not an absolute ton has happened since you last saw me. I've been consolidating my control around the European Union, the Eurasian Union, the United States and North America, and China and Japan. And in a couple of months, I think October, I should be able to unify China and Japan into one federation, then eventually into a proper Pan-Asian combine. I'm probably not going to take this faction to its absolute fullest, though, because I'm not sure how many more of these control points I'm going to be able to govern. I'll get some more once I get Japan. I could probably add Korea into the mix, and I will give them Mongolia as well, just for some nice clean borders. But everything around Southeast Asia, parts of India, probably not. I think we're kind of reaching the limit of our potential here on Earth. But honestly, what a freaking ton of potential it's been up to this point. We also have this battle group of 4 dreadnoughts that I have built up and a couple of supporting picket ships. Because even though most of the time I've been chasing down lots of small fleets of 1 or 2 enemy ships and they've been easy slaughters as long as we don't mess up, there have been at least a couple of larger engagements. And since the enemy does tend to focus a lot on missiles lately, I don't know if they're just cheaper, but that's what they want to do, having at least a couple of ships that can intercept them quickly is going to be helpful, because the dreadnoughts are not maneuverable at all. So the design for this thing, if we take a look over here, is a Defiant-class escort ship. It doesn't have much combat power, but who cares? It's just a point defense boat, so it can move around quickly to wherever the missiles are and shoot them down, so I don't have to worry about repositioning the dreadnoughts too much, and they're able to actually fire off. So this is going to be pretty helpful, and it's got enough Delta V, it easily keeps up. Now let me give you an example of what I'm talking about with some of these ships that are approaching against this destroyer. So these dreadnoughts, they can't, like, do anything. You have to really burn hard to get them to change their trajectory, or maybe just shift a few degrees and then do something kind of like this. Right, like this is kind of the best you can do as far as maneuvering the ships properly. So since they're really immobile, it's hard to get these guys to actually web up their point defense. You can get overwhelmed. Whereas my new picket ships, oh, now we got something maneuverable. If I see a bunch of missiles coming over this direction, no problem. I can get over here really, really quickly and intercept. That's kind of the idea. And by the way, here's a perfect example of what I'm talking about, where the timing becomes very, very important in order to wipe out some of these ships before they become a threat. I got 1 ship arriving on Earth on July 6th, 1 on July 7th, and 1 on July 8th. So as long as we have 2 fleets set up in Earth's orbit, we can quickly intercept the first one, then the second and third before they become an actual consolidated threat. That alone is going to take me like 15 minutes to do, and I've been doing nothing but that for 5 hours. You kind of see the problem here, but what I want to do once Earth is looking clear is take this roaming fleet of 4 dreadnoughts and 2 escorts, and I want to go around the asteroid belt to places like this, for example, and see if we can go destroy some of their mining colonies. I'm not sure I can destroy their stations. I want to, but it's got enough fleet power that would be very painful. But anywhere that they might have some sort of a mining base, like right here, for example, this is what I want to blow up. Oh, we captured a live griffin. Fun. Okay, that'll be helpful in some way. And we destroyed the alien base on Io. Perfect. Now you might be thinking, why not just take the base? That's gonna have a lot of good stuff in it. Yeah, no, unfortunately, no. The alien bases are automatically set up to self-destruct whenever you actually take them over with Marines. So no, we are not able to take over alien bases, but we can certainly knock them out. And we actually salvaged a hefty amount of metals out of the arrangement. That's pretty nice. I've been having to buy metals and noble metals from the AI non-stop because I just can't produce enough to build up the fleets that I need. But this is certainly going to help with that quite a lot. All right. Now, similarly to the damage we're causing to the aliens, one thing I could do, if I wanted to be really mean-spirited, is go and find a place like, let's say, the Charmin base. It's not a great example. What about, like, this one or so? The Ansari base? Sure, why not? Over on this asteroid, we could send the Marines and take over a human type of base. And doing that does actually retain its ability to produce materials. Some of the stuff will probably get destroyed in the process. You have to rebuild a bunch of modules. It takes a lot of time. It may or may not be worth it, but if we can find a way to either get a material we are grossly lacking in, for example, there's a load of water to be had on Ceres, or if we can just punish the Protectorate or the servants in some way, it might be worth doing that. And then even if we don't want to retain the station for ourselves, I could give it to somebody like, let's say, Project Exodus or Humanity First, and that's completely fine. So far, things are going pretty much according to plan. Our war economy is just now starting to pick back up where it needs to be. We're producing a pretty healthy amount of volatiles. We're back in the positives on nobles. Finally, I can stop buying things. And we do have a pretty good income on base metals now. So if we can keep building up on this, and I'm producing 600-700 per month, that's an extra ship or so every month or two, depending on what I want to build. That's not so bad. So we can keep building on this and we'll be fine. I think one thing I'm going to change my strategy going forward is I should not start by moving toward tier 3 mines and stations around, let's say, Jupiter or anywhere else. Sounds tempting because overall, it's the fastest solution to get everything up to tier 3, yes. But it's also a full year where you're getting no benefit and have 0 defenses. It's probably better to start with level 2, maybe, or even level 1, and then just start gradually ramping things up. So I'm going to be doing that going forward. It does seem to be working out pretty well. In the meantime, I am taking out some alien stations. So we've knocked out whatever they've got left over around Io. We're heading toward Callisto in just a little bit, and I have my roaming battle group over here with some Indomitable class and Defiant ships, which has destroyed one mine and is heading over toward another one around Undina. This is going to be a huge hit for me, because if we take a look at the prospecting tab over here, the best alien source that we know of for noble metals and for regular base metals and for, what was it, volatiles, water? No, maybe it was just these two. I thought it was fizzles as well. Well, it's good anyway. Yeah, so Undina has a lot of the aliens' best stations that I know about. So if we can take these suckers out, that's going to be very, very big for me, and we should have enough marine power that we can do that if they don't have any defenses. And then to even double up on that, I designed a few little drop ships. Now, these things are currently over here, and they're about to go and destroy another station around Parthenope over here. They got one site, which is probably not making them an absolute ton, but every bit that I can harass them is going to be worth it. These ships are weak, okay? They're not especially good. Let's take a look. I call them the Planetfall class. These guys have no armor, no combat potential whatsoever. They are designed to be faster than my normal ships, with a good amount of Delta V, and just transport Marines around. If I can find unprotected targets, then all I need to do is just arrive, take 5 days to blow up the station, and then get the heck out of there before any reinforcements can get me. So this is a way that I'm going to be able to start doing the same impact against the aliens, but for a fraction of the price. That's going to be good for me. Something else I need to do is start thinking about how I'm going to take out the shipyards for my enemy. So one thing we may want to do at some point soon is design either some dreadnoughts or, better yet, some titans. These titans are going to be, well, huge and painful, but if we can get, let's say, some plasma cannons marked onto the nose over here, with maybe, like, I don't know, a little, maybe I guess we could do a little cannon or something like this. Ooh, we could do a giant laser. That could be fun. But the idea is we need to go and take out their stations, but they have so much point defense, I need to be very thoughtful about how I approach it. They're going to do damage. It is inevitable. They are loaded with plasma, as well as some lasers and some point defense. So my point defense does nothing against their stations. My only hope is to burn them down as fast as possible. So one thing I could think to do, maybe, is create some titans that have ridiculous amounts of armor on the front. I'm talking like maybe 100 or 200-ish adamantane armor, for example. So we have so much armor that their plasma take forever to burn through. But then we can also reduce the DPS the enemy stations will do if we can find a way to distract their lasers. So what might be worth doing is having titans that are loaded with plasma and then bring along with them, let's say, some lancers or some battleships that have some big honking coil guns, but not necessarily with the expectation that I'm going to do damage. More that I'm going to just be firing off as many projectiles as possible so that their point defense and their lasers are overwhelmed, which means they're not shooting back except for with their plasma, where I have armor to tank the hits, and then I can burn them down more effectively. That is a thought. I don't know. But I am going to wish that I had some slightly bigger and better engines in order to make sure my ships can get there in a timely fashion. To that end, I did research the antimatter beam core reactor. This is necessary if we want to get antimatter drives, and we'll see if I get lucky on that in the near future. I'm hoping we do, because I think that the, what is it called, pion torch is supposed to be a guarantee show up. I think it's just now a matter of when is it going to show up. Not a ton of antimatter in order to get this reactor up and running, and it has even better stats than my Icarus torch. But because it's not a hydrogen engine, I won't be able to toss on some of the utility modules that have made me a bit stronger, like the hydrogen trap. So we'll see how it lines up overall. I'm still thinking about it, but it's going to be a very, very, very expensive endeavor to build enough Titans to overwhelm enemy stations. If we can do that, though, knocking out both their economy and their shipyards, the aliens will finally stop trickling so many gosh dang ships after me, and we can make our push over to Make Make and try to go for a win condition. Yeah, these Marines are really a game changer. 98% chance we can knock out a base over here on Callisto as well. Not too sure how much it produces, but based on the anticipated surveys, it's probably going to be a lot for the aliens. Heck, if I can clear them out, this could be another really, really good site for me to claim for myself. Plenty of water and other stuff. Yeah, why bombard with nukes? I mean, they work, but like, why bombard with nukes when you can just use Marines and you don't risk losing any ships? It seems like an objectively better way to go. And see, there goes this one around Parthenope. So we got rid of that base. I don't know exactly what I'm taking away from the aliens, but if I assume that their mines are probably equivalent to my tier 3s, I'm hoping that I'm robbing them of at least a couple hundred, if not more, resources per month. And the more I starve the beast, the better. I've looked around at some of their stations. They've got so many shipyards, it's a little bit ludicrous. Like, even if I could get a force together that was capable of running down each of those stations and beating them up, I wouldn't be able to get there fast enough before they just rebuild everything I destroyed. So, no, it's way better just to starve their economy, reduce how much output they've got, then we can go for the source and shut them down permanently. Okay, excellent. The Pion Torch, this is what we were talking about earlier. I'm not as excited about receiving this one as the last one, even though it is objectively better in every practical way. But I'm pretty sure you're almost guaranteed to get this one if you do research the antimatter engine, whatever thing. Let me show you why we love this thing, though. So there's the Pion Torch right there. 14.7 thousand KPS. Yeah, that's kind of a lot. That's kind of a lot. And it does give you a load of thrust, which means not only are you going to be traveling further than you would with my Icarus Torch, but you also should have a much higher cruise acceleration so you get around to your destination faster. Now, I think the velocity could somewhat even out a little bit closer once you factor in that a hydrogen engine does get some good stuff, but whatever. So, reaction products, though, here's the real problem. Look how much antimatter you need. That is a bit prohibitive. So this would get me a very, very long way if I can start making a ton of antimatter. If I cannot, well, awesome though this is, it might not be useful to me. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm still going to try to get the Pion Torch if I can. Pion Torch, whatever you call it, I have no idea. It's just getting a lot of antimatter is a little bit tricky. Now, on Mercury, at least a couple of my HABs, I am building out some super colliders. So once these things are built up, they are going to be producing a lot more. Yeah, 0.1 antimatter per month. Still not a lot, but get a few of these and that's okay. The big issue with this is that it has a lot of costs associated with it. Very, very expensive compared to an Atom Smasher, but at a significantly faster rate. One thing you could consider doing is going over here to Jupiter itself. And around Jupiter's orbit, you can actually see this right here. In the low Jupiter orbit, you can harvest some antimatter using an antimatter farm. Now, I think, though, that this is a little bit misleading, because if you hold your mouse over this, it says that you would be able to harvest a microgram per year? Is that really it? 1 microgram per year. See, I don't know how that lines up exactly over here. I don't know the units. It just says 1.4 units. It doesn't say how many grams. So I'm not sure if this is actually a lot of easily harvested antimatter, or if it's very, very little. What I'm going to do real quick and just check, because I think this is a question worth answering. I'm going to save the game. I'm going to try building a station. Let's see if it predicts how much it's going to harvest for me. Unfortunately, it does have to be a tier 3 ring for this to work. Kind of on the expensive side, but oh well, that's going to be fine. So over here, it does need a lot of power. Just got an achievement, by the way. There's the antimatter farm. I have researched this. 4F? 4F. What exactly is that in comparison? That feels like something that kind of suggests this is not going to be worth very much to me. 4F, 4F, 4F. Yeah, is that like 0.00004? Is that what we'd be getting out of this? Because it feels like it's not going to be much. I don't think this is worth it. I could totally be wrong, but I don't think it's worth it. Yeah, I'm looking on the Reddit right now, and it looks like a lot of people agree that these are absolutely worth it. Is that 4 femtograms? That's like 10 to the power of negative 15. That's practically nothing per month. That's absolutely worthless. And that does not really quite add up to what the game suggests would be good. So, yeah, either something is bugged in the equation here, or these are just absolutely atrociously bad. And the fact that it looks like you would get 1 full antimatter per month would be extremely tempting until you see that it specifically says that you'd be able to get only a microgram per year. Yeah, that's just nothing. All right, reloading the game, that confirms it to me. Not worth it. Not worth it at all. Don't bother. Huh. How long has this been 5 red dots for the aliens? Do they absolutely despise me? I'm guessing that's exactly what this is. We're at total DEFCON like 30 at this point. Anyway. Yeah, you know, one thing I'm really happy about, though, is that we're starting to finally get our economy back on a roll. I can finally stop buying things from the AIs. Not that they ever had much to really begin with, but every extra 1,000 volatiles or nobles kind of kept me afloat. So now that we actually can start producing more of my own, I can stop hunting these guys down, and we'll be able to actually start building some big honkin' ships. And I got some Titans that I really would like to launch. Oh, good. And I finished building out a small little refuel station around Leda in Jupiter because, well, the ships I launched for Jupiter the first time finally arrived, you know, after we've already been doing everything around Jupiter anyway. And then they were like completely out of Delta V. Only less than half of a Delta V left. They couldn't even get to Jupiter to refill. So I had to build up this station just to get them resupplied. Now that we've got it, though, this will be a lot better, and we can actually send them to another station to get upgraded, and they'll finally be everything that I wanted them to be the first time around. Which is mostly to say they're going to have platform station capabilities. I'm not sure what to do with that now that we've already got everything I want around Jupiter, though. Maybe go looking for some really good asteroids. I don't know. It takes like 600 days for a station to arrive from Earth. Be a heck of a lot faster to launch these guys and pick up some valuable asteroids. And a few more upgrades over here. You might notice, by the way, that I am bleeding out money per day, and this looks really bad. It actually hasn't been that bad. For some reason, first off, it feels like I'm not losing money as fast as it says I'm going to. But secondly, when in doubt, I mean, I could just sell a few hundred fizzles. I got lots of them. I don't use them very often anymore, and they're worth a fair chunk of cash. If I really wanted to sell some exotics, I could do that. If I wanted to sell some antimatter, ho-ho, $25,000 credits, whatever you call this, per antimatter. That's pretty hefty. All the more reason that even if you don't use antimatter for your Navy, and you probably should, having lots and lots of antimatter is still a pretty valuable thing. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Some of the big colony mines coming online in Europa. Yes! Look at that income go up now! And, ooh, space stations around Tokugawa Station in Europa. Finally! It took so long, but we've got a fully operational station that's properly defended in Jupiter. Oh my god, 2 of them even! Oh my god, oh my god. All right, we are finally set. Now I can entrench the frick out of this place. And you know something? I'm gonna try something kind of stupid here and just see if it works. Because if it does, it'll be hilarious. I'm gonna revive the old Hail Mary class, turn it into the Hellfire class with an engine upgrade. So we'll have a bit more combat acceleration, plus some Delta V to get around if I need to. And I'm just going to strap on a whole load of nukes, and we're going to try the exact same thing we did to the mothership, and see if it works on a station. I'll probably save so I don't waste a lot of resources, and if it doesn't work, oh well. But my thought is, if we can't stand up against enemy space stations with a normal fleet without a huge fleet of Titans, I'm wondering if we can just rush them with so many stupid nukes. Maybe we could still blow them up, and if so, that's still a really cheap solution. You don't know until you try, so now's the time to experiment. I'll be honest, I don't feel very good about my chances of success here, primarily because the enemy space stations are going to have so much point defense around them, we have to truly overwhelm them, and even then, I'm curious if one nuke is going to be able to knock everything out. It may or may not, but if it does, or if at the very least it knocks out a cluster of point defense, we can then swoop in and finish them off. And the more of these shipyards I can take out, the better. Big time. Couple more mines go online, and all of a sudden turn everything on, and I'm up to about 1.9 thousand volatiles per month in income. Gosh, what a difference! From where we were in the last video, am I right? Good lord. All right. With this much metal, volatiles, and water coming in, as long as we can get our noble metals figured out, yeah, we can start constructing the big ships now. And what are those big ships gonna look like? Primarily plasma boats, so I might make a couple different variants. So, for example, this is the, well, it doesn't say it here, it's the Kronos style of Titan, because I decided to name them after Greek Titans, it just makes sense. Right now we've got a heavy plasma cannon on the front. I'm going to swap this out for a Mark III as soon as I have it available, plus a lot more plasma, plus some point defense in case we get into a scrap. And the idea here is very straightforward. If we are going to be going after enemy space stations, using plasma to burn through their armor is a good idea. There's no point in trying to overwhelm their point defense unless we're really going to commit to it. Once you have enough coil guns that you can overwhelm point defense, even with there's like 12 of them shooting you down, well then yeah, okay, that obviously becomes a really good method of beating them down, but unless we're willing to commit to that, plasma is a surefire way of doing damage, and it's a very fast-moving projectile at a long range, which kind of works well for me. So we're going to have some variants of Titans that are primarily going to be plasma boats, some that are going to be mixing in some torpedoes on the off chance we can make something work, and some that are going to be bringing in some lasers in case we'll have some issues, but all of them will be firing off of some plasma on the nose. The cool thing is, these are going to be very slow in their cruise acceleration, but we're still looking at a full G of combat acceleration and over 700 kps. Not half bad. Oh yeah, and I should also know that we've got 150 adamantane armor on the front nose. Why? Because I figure if we can have a load of that and still have enough Delta V, we might as well have so much armor that we can tank through their plasma rounds as possible. At least such is the idea. I don't know, this may be gross overkill, but it feels like it could be useful. Yep, and our roaming fleet just arrived around Undina, exactly as I was hoping for. 100% chance that in 5 days we take this one offline. Oh, yes. Yes. Finally, the aliens are going to know my pain. We're going to cramp their economy so much that the pendulum is definitely swinging more in my direction. Oh, gosh dang it, I wanted to watch this thing blow up, but now I have to go back here and do the agents? Blah! All right, fine. We'll go and, I don't know, try to buy some more stuff. I'm out of noble metals again. Honestly, this is kind of weird in this game, but it feels like there comes a point where you just want to be done with everything that's happening on Earth. Like, all these little factions who are trying to take away my nations or causing issues in Africa, South America, wherever else, I don't care about you anymore. I have transcended beyond you. We are now moving on a system-wide scale. So the fact that I have to keep popping over here on Earth and doing the same micromanagey type of tasks can get a little annoying at times, I'm not gonna lie. There goes the base. Beautiful. That was a very good source of several materials for the aliens. In fact, this might be a really good time to go ahead and run over there and snag it for myself. It's pretty darn good. In other news, all 12 of my new Hellfire bombers are built up. I'm calling it the Doom Fleet. If we wanted to, this is our chance to go and try to take out the Graceful Demon Station, which I would say is a good opportunity, except it's also got a destroyer hanging around, and that guy's gonna rip me apart. Even with the destroyer parked, let's just go ahead and test this out. I want to see what these guys are able to do. Should be fun. Now, if we're careful, we might be able to get up some serious speed and then hit the station with everything we've got so fast we overwhelm the point defense. That would be the goal. Let's set this to a tight block of ships and engage. All right, this is going to be exciting. All right, so we're in a pretty good spot here. I just need to get some serious speed and then tell these guys not to fire off any of their missiles until we are ready. And off they go. Now take a base of maneuvers, try to avoid getting shot if possible, and this is the real question. I'm going to lose all these ships, but that is a lot of missiles heading in toward the stations. Can any of them get through? Wow, not any of them. That was... okay, I guess that answers that question. Alien stations. Yeah, they have a ridiculous amount of point defense. I will not be relying on missiles, that is for sure. And yeah, that was just mostly a test run. I'll go ahead and reload and save all those ships, but I have no idea what to do with them anymore. Because, well, that was just atrocious. Actually, you know what? Just to be fair, I'll go ahead and just accept the loss of the ships. What else am I going to do with the mission control anyway? But yeah, that's a lot of tragic deaths for a complete and utter whiff. Ha! Answers the question, though. So Titans it is. That is my only hope to be able to knock these suckers out. Before I end this video, with all these enemy ships heading my way, I should note that I have destroyed every alien mining station from Jupiter inward. There are no more mining stations active around the asteroid belt or around Jupiter or anything along those lines. In fact, according to my calculations, which is to say my count on the Intel ledger, it looks like the aliens have only 8 left anywhere in the solar system, and they're all really spread apart. 4 of them are on Makemake. So if we're able to get to Makemake, we could knock out half their economy, not to mention go for the kill very, very soon. All I need now are some proper Titans with a lot of range, make a beeline for this area, and try to destroy everything they hold dear. It's going to take a little bit more time, though. Thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If so, I would ask you to hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, make sure you hit that notify bell, and I will see you guys next time.